And coming at you live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., this is Impact Showdown Radio. I'm, of course, as always, the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders, and we are actually joining TNA Impact live in progress. They are now 1 minute going into overtime here. We see Bully Ray is in the ring with the Icon Sting and Hulk Hogan as Bully Ray is pleading his case to allow himself to be the partner for Sting to take on Aces and Eights. And folks, we're seeing it live right now in progress. Hulk Hogan has given the seal of approval. He has extended a handshake to Bully Ray. It's official. Bully Ray is now shaking hands with the Icon Sting. He's letting him know that he's going to have his back at Bound for Glory, as it is Bully Ray that will be teaming up with the Stinger to take on the Aces and Eights. Thank those of you that is checking out tonight's show right now, live in progress on October 4th, 2012. You know, we got the chat room that's open right now. Feel free to jump on in there if you'd like. You can also interact with us through Twitter during the course of tonight's show. Hit us up at Infinity1Prod on Twitter. While you're at it, take the time out, check out our Facebook page over at Infinity One Productions. Nice page. We're always covering a little bit of everything on there. Like it, follow us. You can even befriend us on there. Check it out. Of course, we're definitely going to be opening up the phone lines in the later part of the show, as we definitely want to try to get as much reactions from you all, as tonight was the night that we were waiting for since it was first announced back May 10th of this year, where we had saw Bellator MMA fighter King Mo Lawal, or as I love to call him, Mojo Jojo, had made his TNA in-ring debut tonight. I definitely want to get you all's reaction to how you think Mo Lawal did. I definitely will chime in my thoughts, but I definitely want to know what you all think of how he did tonight. So definitely we got a jam-packed episode tonight. You know, before we jump right into everything, I just want to let you guys know that we did have some technical difficulties when we had did the Tuesday night wrestling report of the RCWR show, and it was nothing that was wrong at our end. Everything, computer-wise, all that, what we usually use to do the show for you guys, everything was on point at our end. It was a Blog Talk Radio issue. As you could probably hear, there's a little bit of static that's going on right now. That's basically a continuation of what had happened Tuesday night. Not really sure what's going on, but I can definitely tell you this. We are definitely going to be working with Blog Talk Radio to make sure that we have some type of a ETA, or we know exactly what's going on with their servers right now. Hopefully this can be something that is resolved before we do the Saturday edition of the RCWR Show Weekend Report. We'll definitely keep y'all posted on that. So the show, it may end a little early tonight if it doesn't get, if it gets totally brutally bad with the static. We may end the show a little bit early. If it just remains where it is right now, then we'll just keep on rolling. We'll go right through it. All right, so keeping that in mind, let's just go on ahead and let's just cover tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling. We got a lot of stuff that we definitely got to cover here. So, of course, as I had said, tonight was the night that we had saw King Mo Lawal. He made his debut. Of course, we also had that storyline continuation from last week where we had Aces and Eights. They pretty much had left Hulk Hogan with only one option, which was to try to sit up and find a great tag team to take on the Aces and Eights. Was I the only one that kind of felt a little bit misled here as I was watching tonight's episode? I thought that basically Aces and Eights had clearly stated to Hogan that it wasn't about him. Well, they definitely got that part right, but they kind of gave the impression that it wasn't supposed to be about Sting as well. I was definitely a little bit shocked to hear that Sting was going to be the one to take on Aces and Eights at the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. That point really wasn't made that clear last week. It really just kind of came out of nowhere. It really wasn't emphasized that much last week. But in either case, that's what we have right here tonight. As all throughout the night, folks, we have Sting, Hulk Hogan. They are just going through a list of potential candidates that they could see partnering up with Sting to take on those damn Aces and Eights, as there are several key matches that they are watching tonight. So we definitely want to run down those matches, but also let you guys know we actually saw Samoa Joe in action. That's right. He had put up the television title on the line in his first title defense. Zema Ion had also made a title defense as well for his X Division championship. Let's go on ahead. You know how we do it over here. We get you guys caught up on everything that you might have missed in case you weren't able to check out tonight's episode, right along with that bonus content that's from the Backstage Pass on TNA's YouTube channel. If you haven't been checking it out, you're missing some really great stuff right here. So we definitely got to pick it up with Mike Tenay, who informs us, of course, that the television championship is going to be on the line tonight. As we see Mr. Anderson, he comes out and he sends a message to the Hulkster and the Stinger to pay very close attention to their monitors because they need to be watching exactly what he's going to be doing, as he had a very brief encounter with Gunner. That's right. This was our first match of the night. Once again, we got TNA kicking things off with pretty much a straight-up wrestling match. I love how this match had just opened up, as we had saw Mr. Anderson, Gunner. They pretty much forgot about all the formalities. This match did not kick off with a headlock or no type of lock. These guys, they just went at it. I was definitely loving this. And this match, before you could really get invested into it, before you could really come back and say to yourself, yes, this match is off the chain hot, it ended abruptly, as we had saw Mr. Anderson out of nowhere. He did a mic check to Gunner to be able to pick up the victory. Now, post-match, we had saw Gunner's partner, Kid Cash, try to jump in the ring, but Mr. Anderson had engaged him with a mic check as well. So Gunner, Kid Cash, both laid out. We also had saw in the backstage segment Miss Tara talking to her boo, talking to her boyfriend, as she soon bumps into a Gail Kim. Gail Kim, a little bit irritated seeing Tara on the cell phone, as they are supposed to be having a tag team match coming up very shortly. We see Tara say to Gail Kim, hey, why not the two of us do a double date? Tara, she could bring her Hollywood boyfriend. Gail Kim could bring her producer boyfriend. It'd be a fantastic time. Kim not exactly too keen on this, as she pretty much lets Tara know, hey, you really need to be focused on your match at Bound for Glory, because if you do happen to walk away with that Knockouts title, I'm going to be the one in your face looking for that next title shot. So, big, bold words right there. And, of course, that would be our second match of the evening, as we had saw Gail Kim and Tara team up to take on Miss Tessmacher, and making another appearance, a wrestling match appearance at that. For the second week in a row, we see ODB. That's right, Tessmacher teaming up with ODB. This was definitely very, very, oh my God, a lot of distractions in this match. I've never seen so much TNA before in my life in the middle of the ring. If you were paying attention to this match, guys, you definitely were enjoying this. Ladies, I definitely know some of you all were enjoying this, as we definitely got to give a special shout out to our good friend Jennifer. Yeah, she definitely was all eyes on this particular match. It's all good, babe. Yeah, anyway, folks, we saw the team of Gail Kim and Tara defeat Miss Tessmacher and ODB. Definitely was a very solid match right there. Of course, we saw Bruce Pritchard talking with Al Snow. Remember, it was just last week where we saw Bruce Pritchard really grilling the hell out of Al Snow for putting his hands on Joey Ryan a couple of weeks back, as there was some serious ramifications that came out of that, and Pritchard had told Al Snow that he needed to make everything right, that this really needed to be squashed with the quickness. And we see Bruce Pritchard, he is talking with Al Snow, going over some very important documentation, letting Al Snow know that from what he's able to see of this documentation, everything looks to be on point. Bruce Pritchard giving away his blessings, but also saying to Al Snow he now has to talk with D'Lo Brown, but instructs Al Snow to go out, do his thing. Now, as far as what that thing was, folks, we would actually see Al Snow come to the ring, and he would call out Mr. Joey Ryan. That's right. Joey Ryan was in the Impact Arena. He came out to some of the most weirdest music I've ever heard in my life. It definitely did not suit him. I know they were just trying to throw something together. Personally, I would have just had there be no music, because what he came out to kind of reminded me, and I know Zed was kind of picking on my brain a little bit throughout the night here as we were going back and forth, interacting with you all on Twitter. I was telling him, I said, hearing Joey Ryan's little music here as he's coming out, it reminded me of the theme song for the Justice League animated series. I'm kind of looking at this, I'm hearing it, and I'm like, no, this does not suit him. They need to hurry up and they need to change this with the quickness. I'm just not feeling it. But we see Joey Ryan, he comes down to the ring, and we see Al Snow. He tries to give a heartfelt apology to Joey for putting his hands on him. Joey Ryan, he's not buying it. He's telling Al Snow, that's the corporate apology. I want a sincere apology from you, Mr. Snow. We see Al Snow. He digs down deep. He actually apologizes to Joey Ryan and tells him, look, I'm really sorry. Well, how can you go wrong right there? You got a sincere, heartfelt, extended hand with an apology. You can't go wrong there, right, folks? Well, not good enough for Mr. Ryan, who tells Al Snow that that's not good enough, that he can take away his stupid little apology, his handshake, that it's not about him. It's not about the 87 percenters. Yeah, it looks like he's kind of turning here on those 87 percenters as he proclaims that it is all about him and his moment right now, as he just basks in the glory of this new revelation that's about to be revealed by Al Snow, as he is just imploring Snow to share the information with the Impact fans. What was that information, folks? Well, it turns out TNA Wrestling and Impact, they decided to draw up a contract for Joey Ryan. That's right. Joey Ryan was extended a TNA Wrestling contract. Now, Joey Ryan, he would try to sign this contract, but Al Snow, he tried a few times. Hey, you might want to read the fine print before you sign. Joey, he's cutting him off, throws insult to injury, tells Snow to turn around and loan him his back so that he can put his John Hancock on that documentation to make it official. Well, after Joey Ryan signs this documentation, folks, Al Snow, he begins to have a very, very devilish look and smile on his face. He would reveal to Joey Ryan that he does, in fact, have a TNA Wrestling contract, but that it is only good for one night and one night only. That's right. And Joey Ryan will have his one match on the biggest stage of them all, Bound for Glory, just 10 days away. And get this, the person that Joey Ryan will be fighting is going to be no other than What does everybody want? What does everybody need? Mr. Al Snow. You knew it was bound to happen. Great little storytelling that they just did, just going through all the motions that they were going through to get to this point. We have Joey Ryan taking on Al Snow at Bound for Glory. I know I definitely was looking at this particular segment, and I'm saying to myself, yes, it's about damn time. Let's see if this can finally come to a head. We can finally put all of this behind us and just move forward. So Joey Ryan fans out there, those 87%ers, definitely a very good moment for you all, as you all will be able to witness your icon, Mr. Legalized Sleaze himself, be in San Antonio for be in Phoenix, Arizona, for one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. Definitely was a very solid segment right here. I was definitely very pleased with it. Of course, we also got to get you guys caught up on other matches that had took place, as we had saw the TNA Television Championship on the line, as Samoa Joe had a impressive title defense against Rob Van Dam. That's right. This definitely was one of those type of matches where I must admit, and I've been a Samoa Joe fan for a good number of years, I definitely was very pleased seeing Samoa Joe just continue that mean streak that he's been on. It's like I'm watching the old Samoa Joe. I love that. I love watching the old Samoa Joe. I don't like what the Samoa Joe was that we were getting in the past recent years. I wasn't really feeling that. I love that this Samoa Joe that's running around now is a little bit of a throwback, as that's what I had really missed greatly. Definitely was very impressive how he had got his title retained right here. Very solid contest right here. Now, in a backstage pass, we definitely got to show some love for the backstage passes. All throughout the backstage pass, we saw Jeremy Borash. He was having a interview with the lovely Taryn Terrell. And if you guys had missed that backstage pass, shame on you, because you actually missed Taryn Terrell still wearing that hot referee little tight outfit, just sucking on a lollipop. That's pretty much it. I know she did a little bit of talking in between and after she was done with the lollipop, but it was so irrelevant. It was just all I just was fixated on was Miss Taryn Terrell sucking on a lollipop and just wondering how many licks does it take to get to the center of that Tootsie Roll Pop before she can get to that cream filling. Oh, hurt me. I was definitely loving that segment right there. Of course, other backstage past moments that we had saw, we did actually see Jeremy Borash catch up with Joey Ryan to get his reaction on that revelation of that contract where he's going to be wrestling Al Snow at Bound for Glory. Joey Ryan, he feels that once again this is nothing more than a conspiracy amongst upper TNA management, Al Snow in particular. This was just their way of doing bad business with him. He's not really for it, but he promises that at the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, it's going to be a great night for him, because Bound for Glory, as far as he's concerned, is going to be happening in his home territory, because it's going to be coming over to the West Coast, and West Coast fans are crazy for Joey Ryan, so he proclaims. So, though he's taken the news a little bit badly, it seems like he's trying to turn it into a positive right here. We also saw Jeremy talk with the Knockouts champion, Miss Tessmacher, who was a little bit depressed over the fact that she had lost again to Tara, but that frown had quickly turned upside down is what I'm really trying to say. You know how it goes. Obviously, I don't use that slogan that much, so you know that, but obviously. But what was really funny about this backstage pass moment, we actually saw Daniels and Kazarian. They had popped up and they had told Miss Tessmacher that if she was having that much of a hard time pinning Tara, they would be more than happy to pin her a couple of times. Wink, wink. I definitely couldn't help but chuckle when I had heard that moment right there. Daniels and Kazarian, it seems like every single time they pop up on Backstage Pass, they always make it more interesting to watch, I feel. I definitely love that team. You know, of course, they were doing a little bit of double duty here because not only were they helping out in a few segments of Backstage Pass, but they were also playing a little bit of backstage politics as we had saw them, at least it was Kazarian, eavesdrop on a conversation that AJ Styles was having with the Hulkster, talking about how he wants to get a crack at the Aces and Eights. Correction, folks, I have my guys mixed up. It was actually Kurt Angle that was talking with Hulk Hogan, and we saw Kazarian in the back, not noticeable, eavesdropping in on this conversation, and Hulk Hogan, he's telling Kurt Angle, look, I appreciate the fact that you want to have Sting and my back, you want to take on the Aces and Eights, but you got to sit up and you got to have that match for the tag team titles that same night. I can't have you do double duty. And Kurt Angle, he says, hey, I don't mind. Hey, it's for you. It's for the Stinger. I want to crack at the Aces and Eights. Hogan, he says, you know what, let me just think about it because this is really something that you're putting me in, kind of a rough spot here. Let me think about it. We soon see Bully Ray come to the scene. Bully Ray, he wants a crack at the Aces and Eights. Hulk Hogan, he tells him, you know what, you need to go find somebody. You need to go have a match. Go do something, impress me. And Bully Ray, he's like, okay, you want me to go bully somebody? You want me to go pick somebody, have a match with them? And Hulk Hogan is pretty much saying, yes, that's exactly what I need right now from you. Show me what you can do. Show me what you're willing to do. That's his message to Bully Ray. Now, of course, we would actually end up seeing Bully Ray come up to the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Austin Aries, and Jeff Hardy as they're sharing a brief moment before they were interrupted. Austin Aries, he's telling the Enigma One that he holds no hard feelings for what all had went down last week. He understood that it was just a heat of the moment type of deal. Everything's just in the past. Bully Ray, he comes into the scene, and he tells them that between the two of them, he's going to be punching somebody in the mouth tonight, as he determines the person he wants to face tonight to make a statement to Sting and Hogan why he should be chosen to take on Aces and Eights along with the Stinger is Jeff Hardy. Now, we see Austin Aries, seems like he's getting a little jealous here. He jumped on Bully Ray's back, verbally that is, telling Bully Ray, hey, why take him on when you should be taking on the TNA World Heavyweight Champion? Pretty much, we see Austin Aries pulling the whole, he's better than that guy, so take him on. That's the card he's basically playing. Well, we see Jeff Hardy, he soon counters right back and says, you know what, let's not, why not make this be a triple threat match? And we see Austin Aries, he's not exactly too keen on the idea, but Bully Ray, he tells them, you know what, guys, work it amongst yourselves. I just know I'm going to be seeing one of you or both of you in the ring, and I'm going to get a win over one of you guys tonight. That's pretty much how it was laid out. Nice little moment right here. I like how they just continue week after week after week. When you're sitting up and you're trying to think to yourself, how are they going to be able to continue to utilize Bully Ray? They are just able to just keep him in that loop. I'm just really loving that right now. As from there, folks, we also saw Chavo Guerrero in a match with the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. Decent match right here. I must admit, though, as I was watching this, Chavo just kind of seemed just a little bit out of his element right here. It just really kind of came off to me like Chavo had no business wrestling with Kurt Angle. It just seemed like Kurt Angle had to take his level, take his style of wrestling down a few notches just to try to play and try to compliment Chavo. I really wasn't liking that. It definitely kind of came off like Kurt Angle was holding back a little bit. I don't know if you guys that were watching were kind of picking that vibe out, but I really wasn't quite able to get into this match as I thought I was going to be, which is kind of surprising when you think about it, because it was just a couple of weeks ago, right before Chavo Guerrero had went on that hiatus for a few weeks. If you recall, on Impact Showdown Radio, I actually complimented him and said he had a very good outing when he was in that tag match with Hernandez, and they were taking on AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, and Chavo was in the ring with both of these guys for a good number of minutes, and he was looking pretty impressive right there. But this time around, you go to the singles match, and he just didn't exactly look like that same Chavo from a few weeks back. So not really sure what to make of that. Maybe it might have had something to do with his dance partner. I don't know. But in either case, we saw Chavo Guerrero, shockingly here, pick up a win over Kurt Angle. Now, post-match is where it really got interesting. We actually saw the respective tag teams get in the ring here. We saw Chavo, Hernandez, they're face-to-face with Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, and we see off in the distance around the stage ramp area Daniels and Kazarian. They're just smiling, looking on. They like what all they've caused. They are kind of getting that impression that maybe if they can keep this momentum up, they just might be able to slide out of Phoenix, Arizona with those tag team titles. Possibly, you never know here, folks. But we do see eventually those respective tag teams turn their attention to Daniels and Kazarian, and these guys, they quickly just hauled off. We also saw the X Division Championship on the line as Zema Ion had took on Doug Williams. That's right. This match right here, I'm not really sure how to critique this match. It wasn't bad. It was decent, I must say. But, I think what was more surprising was seeing Zema Ion make Doug Williams tap out. Just think about that for a second, especially if you've been watching Zema Ion for a long period of time. When was the last time you actually recall seeing Zema Ion make somebody tap out? That's not really one of those type of things you hear a lot when you think of Zema Ion, but that was exactly the case. He had made Doug Williams tap out. I know, crazy, but it is what it is, folks. Let's move right along here. And don't get me wrong, Zema Ion, you know what, I'm not crapping on the guy. For those of you that might be getting the impression I'm kind of crapping on him a little bit, I'm not. If there was one thing that I had said a couple of weeks back, and I just kept saying it over and over again, Zema Ion, he's definitely a good wrestler. It's just that he needs to have more television time to be relevant, especially if TNA is really going to go hard with that Jesse Sorsen Ion angle when Jesse returns early next year. I love the fact that TNA is now starting to go to Zema Ion more and more. I'm definitely loving it. I guess with this particular match, it did end rather quickly. I guess I would have preferred to see a little bit more wrestling right here, as opposed to just they're doing their thing for a hot 3 minutes and then boom, out of nowhere we see the submission hit and the match is over. I would have preferred to see a little bit more. That's my whole thing. That's my only argument, really. Other than that, let's move right along now. We had also got to see the moment that we were talking about at the very beginning of the show here. We had saw that TNA debut tonight of King Mo Lawal. What the hell? I'm going to continue to call him King Mojo Jojo. That's my favorite thing. I love calling him that. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, Google is your best friend. Y'all that definitely know exactly what I'm talking about, pat yourselves on the back. Because really, when you think about it, he does kind of look like Mojo Jojo, doesn't he? I know. That's kind of bad, but what the hell? I'm just going to run with it. Let's talk about this segment right here. Now, we see James Storm, Robert Roode. They're doing their thing. They're hyping up their match. They're hyping up that rivalry that's been going on for a year now. They're hyping up how their connection goes all the way back to Beer Money and how they were partners for about 4 years. So you really have that backstory. You really actually can feel invested into this rivalry. You actually can kind of come away and almost feel as though this rivalry is possibly legit, right? Well, we have Robert Roode, who acts as the antagonist here, as he sits up and says, you know what, I don't give a flying hoot about King Mo Lawal. He just better not get in my way when it comes to our match. If he knows what's good for him, he's going to stay out of my business. While I'll be so bold, I'm willing to say that to his face right now if he were standing right here in front of me. What happens? We see King Mo Lawal. He comes out, and we see Robert Roode. He's getting all up in this guy's face, basically trying to punk him out. He actually puts his hands on him. And what does Mo Lawal do? He pretty much pushes Roode so hard, Roode sells it, and he just falls on his ass. And he's just looking at him all scared as he goes running into the backstage area. From there, we see King Mo Lawal. He goes into the ring, and he shares a cold one with the Cowboy James Storm. So that's pretty much it. Now, let's really break this down, and I don't really want to spend too much time on this because I just saw this as it was happening, and it was just freestyle for me. Just everything that I was just thinking as I was just watching this, it all just came to me naturally within seconds. I feel, honestly, you don't need a Mo Lawal involved in a James Storm, Bobby Roode feud. I think it's one of those type of deals. I always like to look at these rivalries that we see from time to time from respected wrestling promotions. I always say to myself, when you have the right ingredients, just go with what you got and just run with it, because if you keep adding new pieces of talent, it's like adding new pieces of ingredients, and if you add too much, the flavor just isn't going to be as popping as it used to be. It's not going to be as tasty as it once was. It's going to start to kind of taste a little, it's kind of too much here. And I just kind of feel that we're just going a little bit too overboard with King Mo Lawal. I don't think he was needed. Quite honestly, I'm not really buying Mo Lawal as this imposing threat that just commands respect and commands authority and will put you in your place if push comes to shove. I mean, he was shorter than James Storm. He was shorter than Robert Roode. He looks to be a bit smaller than these two guys. I'm kind of saying to myself, okay, I'm having a hard time buying this. I mean, for those of you, I don't know, maybe for you MMA fighters, if you've been paying attention to Mo Lawal for a long period of time, maybe you might be able to convince me otherwise. But, you know, on the one hand, I kind of like the idea of the James Storm, Robert Roode, Mo Lawal. It's got those ingredients of a Mike Tyson being the special enforcer for a Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels match. I definitely can see that. Some people would probably be so bold as to say TNA is ripping a page out of WWE history, and you know what? I could definitely give them that argument. But, you know, I'm looking at this, and I'm saying to myself, when I'm looking at this Mo Lawal guy, he just does not seem imposing to me physically. I mean, could you just imagine if it was maybe, and I know you know, it's a cold day in hell, we'll never see anything like this, but let's just pretend for a second here. Let's just pretend it was Brock Lesnar that was the special enforcer for the James Storm Bobby Roode match at the pay-per-view in 10 days. Now, you can definitely say, oh, that Brock Lesnar, that's a bad mother. Hey, shut your mouth. But I'm only talking about Brock Lesnar. You know, you could definitely say to yourself, okay, oh, man, this guy is definitely imposing. Yeah, you know, he's no joke. Hell, you could take a almost senior citizen George Foreman, okay, I forgot how old he is now. He has to be at least in his late 60s by now, maybe early 70s. If he's younger than that, more power to him. But, I mean, you could take a George Foreman. You could take a Evander Holyfield right now, and you could have him be a special enforcer, and they will still command that presence, okay? And, you know, I don't want those of you to sit up and say, oh, well, you know, King Mo, you know, he isn't Mike Tyson. And let me just make sure I make this point perfectly clear, just in case you guys are thinking it out there. I do not consider King Mo as Mike Tyson. What I'm talking about is the particular story angle that TNA is trying to give the viewers right now. And it does really seem like they're kind of pulling a playbook from WWE. Now, I can be very optimistic, and I can just say to myself, you know what, I'm not going to even mention the WWE reference, and I can just look at it for what it is. And unfortunately, even if I do strip away that WWE reference, it's still the way that it is right now. Now, is there anything that TNA can do going forward with King Mo Lawal? Well, I'll tell you one thing that they did do right tonight with the way that they utilize Mo Lawal. Less is better. I love the fact that they did not have him talk. I love the fact that what he did was very brief and it was straight to the point. I think that if they continue to just keep at it like that, have it be short, have it be brief, and at the same time, for those times that he does talk, keep it as brief as possible. If they can set all those scenarios up perfectly, that can definitely buy Mo Lawal that time that he needs to polish off mic work, polish off his in-ring ability. Now, the mic work is what I'm really going to be paying attention to. Just because you talk hot game on a mic to an opponent, you know, and a fighter, you know, it's a little bit of a different beast when it comes to being in the wrestling ring, because you got to do what you got to do to be able to really make those wrestling fans feel it. So I like that they kept it short and sweet. Let's see if they can continue that trend. Don't be too surprised if Mo Lawal is to pop up next week. They pretty much do the same thing that they did tonight. Mark my words on that. And, of course, we also got to get you guys caught up on the very last development that came about on TNA Wrestling. In case you might have missed it at the beginning of the show, we had got that main event match where Bully Ray was taking on Jeff Hardy, Austin Aries. Damn great contest right here. We actually saw Bully Ray shockingly pick up the victory over Jeff Hardy, Austin Aries, as now it is time for the Hulkster and the Icon to go out and lay claim to who they think will be the person to join Sting to take on Aces and Eights. And it's so funny because we actually saw a very brief cameo video from those damn Aces and Eights as they had Joseph Parks bind to a chair, drenched in water, as that Bane-like character, as I like to call him. He had revealed to the Hulkster and Sting that Joseph Parks, he's just fine, he's still in one piece. He will definitely be coming to the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, and they would also take cheap shots at the Hulkster and Stinger for doing what they called a audition throughout the night to try to figure out who was going to be Sting's partner, as Aces and Eights would point out that they do not have that problem, because as far as who will be stepping up to take on Team TNA, as we might as well should dub them here, Aces and Eights, all the members that were there on camera, they pretty much stepped forward as the message was, we are all united. Hogan, it's obvious you can't really say the same for your team now, can you? That's pretty much the message that they're sending to the Hulkster in a nutshell. Well, it's now time to see who the Hulkster and Sting are going to be picking to be at the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, partnering up with the Icon, it would be none other than the man that had delivered 2 mic checks back-to-back, Mr. Anderson. What? Anderson. Okay? So, we see Hulk Hogan. He extends the invitation to Mr. Anderson to come on out. And what happens here, folks? Anderson does not arrive. What happens next? You're wondering, you're watching, you're saying to yourselves, where is Anderson? What exactly is going on here? Well, backstage segment, we would go and we would see Aces and Eights attacking Mr. Anderson before hauling off as TNA wrestlers, officials. They had tried to come to the aid of Anderson, but it was already too late. Bully Ray, in the meantime, he comes on now to the ring, and he is livid that Hogan and Sting, they decided to go in another direction after he felt that he proved himself worthy of taking on the Aces and Eights and being at Sting and Hogan's side when they needed the most. And we see Bully Ray implore to Sting to convince Hogan that he needs to be on that team, that he needs to be able to take on Aces and Eights. And he quickly reminds the Stinger who he is, everything he has done. He is pleading his case. Eventually, we see the Hulkster. He's convinced that Bully Ray is the man. He shakes Bully Ray's hand. We see Sting. He embraces Bully Ray in a handshake. 2 seal of approval handshakes right here. Bully Ray is the partner with Sting to take on those damn Aces and Eights at Bound for Glory. But you can't help but think about the circumstances that has surrounded this new development here. You know, you could look at this piece, and we definitely were paying attention to what some of you were saying on Twitter tonight. Some of you are convinced that it's just a little bit too convenient that Bully Ray is all of a sudden trying to come to the aid of the Hulkster and Sting, seeing as how he had problems with them a couple of months back. A lot of you all find it rather peculiar that Bully Ray just so conveniently was able to come to the scene after Aces and Eights had beat up Mr. Anderson. Some of you all are possibly convinced that it is Bully Ray that is behind the Aces and Eights, that he is the head honcho. I definitely am looking at everything that's happening right now, and I said it once before, I'll say it again. You know, do I think it's Eric Bischoff? I was paying attention to the vocabulary last week, and I must admit, it sounded like Eric Bischoff. If it is Bully Ray, that is one great way to continue to have Bully Ray still be relevant, even though he is not in the main title hunt picture right now. I mean, at this point, I love how they're just continuing to just unpeel these new layers with this Aces and Eights development, and I am just really getting this vibe right now that when it's all said and done, I strongly believe that Bound for Glory, we're going to know who's behind Aces and Eights. I would really be shocked, folks, if we went into 2013 still not knowing who's behind Aces and Eights. I think this is getting ready to wrap up, and it's getting ready to end on a big note. Of course, we can't end talking about Impact Wrestling without mentioning a very key segment that might have been overlooked by some viewers. In case you might have missed it, you might have not really paid attention. We had saw Bruce Pritchard talk with D'Lo Brown, and he had said to him what happened here, and he showed him some video footage on his iPad. D'Lo Brown, he really could not explain what had happened, as it was revealed that during a live event that had happened a couple of weeks ago, we see Matt Morgan just kick the hell out of a referee. Bruce Pritchard is livid. He is yelling at D'Lo Brown, telling him how he is in charge of live events, asking him what had happened. D'Lo, he pretty much mans up and says he isn't really sure. He made a mistake. It was kind of hard for him to really pay attention to what was happening because he was controlling other parts of the live event business. Pritchard, he wants confirmation that this will never happen again, as he brings up how Matt Morgan has not been associated with TNA in 5 months. So you're kind of looking at that. You know, folks, I'm really thinking about it here. I'm trying to connect some dots here. Matt Morgan kind of goes back to that article I wrote like a month and a half ago. Honorable mention for Aces and Nates. It really wouldn't surprise me here if he also might be associated with the group as well. But, you know, overall tonight we definitely got a very, very, I think it was a pretty freaking awesome episode of Impact Wrestling. We got a little bit more matches this week. We got 6 matches total, although once again we kind of got a little dominated with the Hulkster there as he had to get his little TV time. But you know what? I think until this whole Aces and Eights thing is under the wraps, we're just going to have to, unfortunately, deal with it. I think as long as it makes sense, and I definitely think we all can be in agreement that, yeah, Hulkster, he's in too many segments, but, yeah, let's deal with it. We all can agree a few of his segments should be cut back a little bit, but it is what it is. We got to deal with it. At least we got this angle continuing to go where it needs to go. At least we also have this new development that's going on with Matt Morgan. We got the Knockouts division there that's going on, as the real story is just who exactly is Victoria's boyfriend. And then we're also hearing talk of Gail Kim's producer boyfriend, so you're kind of wondering, okay, just who exactly are these girls dating? Very solid episode of Impact tonight as they make their way to the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, just coming 10 days from Sunday. Definitely going to be very solid right there. That's going to do it for the recap. We're going to go on ahead and we are going to take a very brief commercial break. And then when we come right back, in a nutshell, get you guys caught up on what all you might have missed in TNA Wrestling-related news. If you missed the memo, we got a really cool contest that's going on. I definitely want to tell you guys about that real quickly. We'll open up the phone lines. I definitely want to hear you all's reactions to what you thought of King Mo Lawal's TNA debut. And that's pretty much a do. We'll wrap up the show. Not too much static I'm hearing here, and I'm getting the nod from Zed that the static it's not as bad as he's playing it back. So we'll definitely continue to do the show for just a little bit longer. It's still going to end a little bit early tonight, folks. So we'll take that commercial break, and then when we come right back, we will jump all right into it. So you're listening to Impact Showdown Radio, coming at you live October 4th, 2012, 10 minutes before 11 p.m. on the East Coast. We'll be coming right back. Do hang tight.
Tired of those wrestling websites that give you redirects, spyware, weird pop-ups? How about those misleading headlines? Instead of hitting the keyboard in frustration, why not visit InfinityOneProductions.com? Infinity One is the source for wrestling-related news and so much more without all the hassle. Visit InfinityOneProductions.com. Your keyboard will thank you.
Hey guys, Lee Sanders here with the RCWR Show, and I'd like to take this time out to tell you about 1 or 2 quick apps that I think you should check out when you get a free moment. First app I'd like to recommend to you is the app from Stitcher. Now, Stitcher allows you to be able to play all our episodes of the RCWR Show and Impact Showdown on your portable devices, such as an Android phone, Kindle Fire, iPad, you name it, it'll be able to play it. So definitely highly recommend that you check that out. It's available for free in the App Store. Stitcher, new and smart way to play radio. Also, another cool app that I'd like to recommend to you all is a new app that came out not too long ago from Apple. That's right, Apple has recently come out with a free podcast app. Now, this app is really cool, folks, because after we are done doing our shows, all you have to do is just subscribe to our episodes. And you can do this by downloading this new free podcast app. All you have to do, visit the App Store, on your iPhone or iPad and just search podcast. Once the app is downloaded, you can then type in the name of our shows, the RCWR Show and Impact Showdown, and you'll be able to subscribe. It's that easy. So you have 2 cool free apps that you can check out and take all our episodes with you on the go. So get to it already.
All right, and we are back. You're listening to Impact Showdown Radio, coming at you live right now on blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR Show and over at our sister website at infinity1productions.com. Special shout-out to our Stitcher family that continues to grow each week. Speaking of Stitcher, for those of you loyal listeners that always check out the show every single week, especially for those of you that check it out on the downloads, you know how much we appreciate it. As always, there is a special contest that's going on right now that Stitcher is having, as it's their first annual Stitcher Awards. Hey, definitely show your love for the show if you like it, whether it's the RCWR Show, Impact Showdown Radio. It's pretty much collectively all the same. Do yourself a favor, do us a huge favor, and go to Stitcher.com and vote for us, as there's a few categories we wouldn't mind winning, as we have the category for Best New Show, Best Original Show, Best Sports Commentating Show. You know, of course, you know, you don't have to just go with those, but, you know, we definitely would love the edge in those respective platforms there, in those respective categories. Go on over to Stitcher.com and definitely show your love. Vote for us. You can vote once a day. That's the real cool thing about this. You can vote once a day, every day, right on up until October 19th, and then they'll tally up all the votes, and they'll figure out who is the winner of what category by then. So thanks, and you know what? Even if we don't win, you know, just the fact that you're able to go out there and you're able to show that love and support and click on that vote, get us in there in the ballot, we definitely appreciate it. Also, we definitely got to do a special shout-out to our new YouTube subscribers as we just continue to pick up subscribers all this week. You know, one guy we definitely want to show some love to is a guy by the name of Prank UK Griefing, who had this to say, and these are his own words. He had said, you know, enjoyed the show, man, subscribed. And we had one other guy, his name is Angelo Shepard. Now, I don't know if this was really a knock or what, but he sat up and he said, go to radio. And that's just the beautiful thing about when we're on YouTube, because all of us are reading the comments. And we actually had a reply back to him. We said, newsflash, buddy, yeah, we are into radio. This is just our way of reaching out to the YouTube audience, as a lot of other wrestling radio shows, they do the same thing. They reach out to audiences through YouTube. So if you don't really like the fact that all you see is an image and you hear audio, I don't know what to really tell you there. I mean, sometimes it's kind of one of those things where, do you continue to stand there and let somebody continue to step on your foot, or do you eventually move away or punch them in the face and lay them out? If you have to think about that for too long, I feel sorry for you. Hey, let me tell you about this really cool contest that we got going on, in case you are not aware of it. We have up for grabs a limited edition copy of WWE 13. It's the Stone Cold Steve Austin edition, and this is really awesome. You're going to be able to win this video game for your respective platform. Even if you're pushing a PSP or a Wii, we hope you would not be, but if you happen to win the contest, and you want it for the Wii or the PSP, we'll show you some love. We'll hook you up. It's no problem. But this contest is really cool, and it's for a very worthy cause. As the way you enter the contest, all you got to do is go over to our website at infinityonproductions.com. We have a donate tab that is towards the bottom on the right-hand side. Click on that. Follow the prompts. You can also donate by going to blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR Show. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. Click on that Extras Great tab. You'll see the donate button. $1, $1 gets you in to the contest. Now, if you don't feel comfortable donating directly to us, then I highly encourage you to go to Susan G. Coleman's website, and you can actually donate to them that way, and you can actually choose a $1 donation. Let us know, prove to us in an email, tweet, Facebook message, what have you, that you did donate to them, and we can enter you in the contest that way as well. Now, if you are under the age of 21, you don't have a credit card, unfortunately, you kind of need your parents' permission. You know, let them check out the show, let them make up their mind whether or not they want to go on ahead and they want to donate to the cause. But if you're 21 and up, then you know what, baby, you need to go on ahead and you need to get in on this contest, because if it turns out you don't win the contest, hey, check this out, because this is really awesome. All the money that we're going to be gathering from the donations, we here, we being me, lovely co-producer Tammy, Zed, along with the writers that we have working on the website, we all are going to combine our money together, and we're going to double whatever is there for the donations. And we are not, I repeat, not going to be keeping that money. No, we're going to be giving it to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. It's our way of giving back to the community and really letting our voices be heard as wrestling fans. So definitely join the cause, man. It's something that's pretty freaking awesome, and there's no telling when we're going to be doing another contest like this again. I mean, can you just imagine that? You basically win a video game for basically $1. $1. I mean, I got to say it one more time because it's freaking insane. $1. So good luck to you. We'll have that main official drawing on the 100th episode of the RCWR Show. That's going to be coming in just 3 weeks. That's right. We're going to be celebrating our 100th episode. I can't wait. I know co-producer Tammy can't wait. It's going to be a very solid show. I'm already hard at work working on the graphic designs for what we're going to be using to plug the show advertisement-wise. So let me briefly talk about what all has been happening in TNA Wrestling in a nutshell, and then we're going to open up the phone lines. So guys that's waiting patiently to hop on the air, don't worry, because this show ain't going to be going for 30 minutes longer. We're only going to be on the air for probably like about maybe 10 more minutes tops, and then that's it. So let's cover TNA Wrestling news, as actually nothing that much has been happening this week. One thing I do want to bring up to you guys, it was revealed that former WWE diva Jillian Hall recently had a dark match just prior to an Impact Wrestling broadcast, and it's been said that the TNA officials were extremely happy with her tryout, as they felt she did extremely well. Now, if this works out right and they sign her, this is really going to work in their favor, as we could probably see Jillian on a definite weekly basis, as she lives, get this, in Orlando, Florida. So this would definitely be a really good fit for her. She's been wrestling in the independent scene as of late. And, you know, I always kind of felt that Jillian Hall was definitely an underrated wrestler. I really particularly did not care when they had gave her that silly little singing gimmick, as I thought it just really ruined her. And I know they were doing that as a way to mock Brooke Hogan for going into her little singing career. But I just never thought that gimmick should have been placed on Jillian. I thought she was just so above that. So if it does work out for her, hopefully, we could see really good things happen. And I know some guys will probably look at this and they'll say, oh, great, another WWE diva coming into TNA. Well, if they would do the daggone divas right, we really wouldn't be having this problem, you dig? Also, we have found out that the Hulk Hogan sex tape, unfortunately, no, brother, no, it had leaked online. Now, we don't really like talking about stuff like this. We don't, but, it's news, and I can promise you this, because we do have integrity, and I'm the head honcho over here when it comes to the website. I get the final say on what's going to be posted on our website, what we're going to talk about on Facebook, and all that good stuff. I'm not even advertising that crap. I will say it on here. You go at your own accord if you are really that desperate to watch an old man get it on with a young girl and you want to look at butt cheeks. Brother, knock yourself out. I'm just letting you guys know, unfortunately, the sex tape that he tried very desperately to fight and make sure that it wasn't leaked out, it unfortunately did. Footage, it unfortunately shows him with a female in various positions, and he's talking about his impending divorce, and it said that maybe he is doing all this to Bubba the Love Sponge's ex-wife. I don't really know what to make of this except yuck and yuck. That's pretty much it, folks. Also, we got to let you guys know that more tickets have been made available for the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, so you definitely want to check that out. Also, something cool that I really want you guys to do, go to ImpactWrestling.com. They have Bound for Glory that is going to be airing at selected theaters. It's going to be happening in your neck of the woods, so make sure you go to their website and you find out where they're going to be playing the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. That's right, you'll actually be able to watch Bound for Glory in theaters. And the really cool thing about this, make sure you keep your ticket stubs and your receipt, because all you'll have to do is send them to a P.O. box, I believe it is. You got to basically mail it back to TNA, and they'll actually send you a Bound for Glory 2012 T-shirt. How badass is that? Make sure you do that. In case you forget, don't worry. After the show is done, we'll definitely be posting that link up for you guys. But I definitely think that's pretty awesome. Something unprecedented, something unheard of. You definitely want to capitalize on that. Also, we got to let you know about this awesome piece of female talent that is set to appear on TNA Spin Cycle. She's from the UK, and, man, is she freaking phenomenal. Her name is Alpha Female, apparently, and she had taped an episode of TNA Spin Cycle, and she was seen carrying her Eve Championship belt, and, man, I just got to say, she looks pretty, that girl is big. She got some serious guns on her. Of course, we definitely want to end on a high note, and we want to talk about what all has been happening with Jeff Hardy. Now, we know it just keeps going back and forth. A lot of people are wondering whether or not Jeff Hardy is going to be leaving TNA to possibly go back to the WWE. Well, Jeff Hardy, he recently did a interview, and he had addressed all of that as he did this interview with the Phoenix New Times. And he pretty much had said in a nutshell that he really couldn't answer that question, as he's happy where he is right now in TNA, but that you can never say never in this business. So pretty much it all depends on where he'll be in the next few months. It was a really great, eye-opening experience of an interview, as he also had talked about his brother Matt Hardy's personal issues. He also talked about the personal issues that he was dealing with leading up into that Victory Road pay-per-view with Sting, and just a really great read. I highly recommend that you check it out. It's at the Phoenix New Times. Google it. Just say Jeff Hardy Phoenix New Times interview. It's a really great read. You'll thank me later. Let's go on ahead. Let's open up the phone lines. Now, Kickback, Smiling Dow. Call us 678-435-4725. Am I remembering the numbers, Ed? No? I'm getting old then, man. What's the number? Thank you. All right, 646-478-3525. Once again, Kickback, Smiling Down, 646-478-3525. You know what it is, Ed? I miss the 800 number. We got to get the 800 number back. All right, let's go now. 269, you're live on the air. 269, live on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, it's David from Michigan.
Hey, Dave, what's up?
Nothing. How you doing?
Hey, pretty good, man.
Yeah, Impact was good tonight. I was kind of confused on the whole Sting and Hogan thing because the way it seemed last week is that it's not about you guys. It's about us and other people. You had to pick your partners or your the guys that are going to wrestle for you, but that kind of got kind of confused. And if Matt Morgan really wasn't going to be in TNA, would they really show a video clip of him?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and Bruce Pritchard is kind of coming off like almost like a boss of everybody there.
Yeah, how about that Bruce Pritchard? He's really been stepping it up in recent weeks.
I could see him actually taking over as like a GM or something like that capacity. If they did ever decide to finally get rid of the old guys.
Yeah. Let's talk about that meat and potatoes, though, Dave. What did you make of King Mo Lawal? Was it a hit or a miss for you tonight?
He just seems like a character, and that is what's missing in wrestling right now, more characters. I think he could, if he would have just came out in just like a T-shirt, maybe some jeans or something like that, you know, and just came out like that, like as a special enforcer or referee, that would have came off more to me better than coming out in a crown and a robe.
Yeah.
I mean, that just came off really cheap and, yeah, I was just like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
That was really bad, I thought.
Is he really? I haven't seen too many pictures of him, you know, just from the stomach up. I mean, is he big or is he a small guy?
I've never heard of him until he came to TNA, honestly. I
haven't seen too many pictures of him, but he looks like he's really small. I mean, he wasn't even up to the height of James Storm and Roode. It's kind of hard for me to take him seriously.
Well, I think that was him on that MMA Uncensored where he actually took a chair shot on there or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught that or not. I think it was with Batista or something like that. He was on there with Batista or something like that.
And he actually took a chair shot, or he took his T-shirt off.
No, a chair shot.
Oh wow! Well, no, I gotta look that up. No, I didn't even hear about that. Wow.
Yeah, I think it was him, or was it Batista on there with somebody else?
Okay.
I'm not sure. I know it was one of those guys. I can't remember right offhand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just want to say personally, I think it's a great thing that you guys are doing with that donate with the whole cancer, giving to the cancer. I mean, personally, because my mom, she died from cancer, I think it's a great thing you guys are doing.
Well, we appreciate that, but I tell you what, Dave, and, you know, we are really trying to do our best to push this hard, and, you know, one of the things that we just think is a little bit surprising about this contest that we're doing is that there really hasn't been that much of a support for this, you know, and like I said, I can't stress it enough. It's not every day that we sit up and we're literally almost offering a video game for $1, and all the proceeds is pretty much going to be going, you know, to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. You know, I'm a little bit kind of shocked and a little bit disappointed with, you know, the certain amount of donations that has been coming in. You know, we definitely were expecting a little bit more, and we're kind of looking at it right now. We're like, okay, you know, are we doing anything wrong? You know, is the word not really getting out? You know, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we're not going to be discouraged by it. You know, we're just going to keep doing the doggone thing, and we would hope that, you know, that's why we say, you know, if people don't feel comfortable donating to us directly, just go to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. You could just put in your dollar that way, and, you know, we give you all the tools to be able to interact with us, guys. You know, all you got to do is just hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Facebook. You can even hit us up on email if you go to our website, hit the contact us, you know, let us know, hey, my name's Tim, I'm from this place, and look, you know, I donated, you know, can you put me in the contest? You know, we'll definitely show you some love that way. It's cool if you might have a little bit of reservations donating to us, but, you know, definitely jump out there, because like I said, can't stress it enough, it's probably going to be a long time before we do another contest like this again. As you know, we pretty much got to get ready for the holidays, and definitely rest assured when December hits, we got a special announcement that we're going to announce for you guys. I got to finalize a few deals, but if it goes right, I might have something really cool for all the fans that might be available on the website the month of December. Dave, as always, thanks for that call. Definitely like hearing your thoughts on tonight's Impact. Let's go now. Where are we going now, Zed? 210? Okay, let's go to 210. 210, you're live on the air.
Hey, what's going on? This is Homie the Clown.
Hey, homie, what's up, bro?
First off, I just want to say thanks for the DVD. I got it earlier this week. I just want to say appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, bro.
Tonight, Impact, I thought was a fail. I really didn't enjoy it too much. I just think this whole Bound for Glory series is just too much around Hogan and Sting and not enough around Aries and Hardy. And it seems like that this is the Hardy and Aries is like second tier to the whole Aces and Eights, and then I don't understand why they throw out a triple threat with Hardy and Aries when they're fighting next week at the pay-per-view. It's like giving away I just didn't understand that at all.
Okay. I'm feeling you so far. You ain't getting no argument from me. I'm trying to understand it from your standpoint. Talk about the King Mo Lawal piece. How did you come away with that? Was that a pass or a fail for you?
I mean, it was all right. It just seems to me he seems out of place with the crown and the robe. I mean, he's not Macho Man. He doesn't need to come out like that. I mean, he came out in gear like he was gonna do something, and all he did was push Roode on the ground. I'm just not feeling it right now. Maybe next Impact he talks and he impresses me, but it just seems like it's not impressing me. It just feels like a fail.
Okay. Well, did you at least like the knockouts action tonight?
Knockouts action was good. I even enjoyed the triple threat match, but you know, why have Bubba Ray? I mean, I understand him winning so he can join Sting and all that mess, but beating Hardy and this, how does that make Hardy look strong going into the pay-per-view coming up, and all this making Aries heel now because he wants respect? It's just like we see this on the other company. You know, give us something new. And the whole Joseph Parks getting electrocuted. I mean, come on now. I mean, it's just too much around Hogan. And since Hogan's came back, I think Impact has gone slowly downhill, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like it's like we got to wait an hour and a half into the show until we see the world champion. Yeah. You know, I don't understand that when it used to be Aries starting off the show and Aries ending the show. And now it's just Hogan starts the show, Hogan is in the middle of the show, and Hogan's in the end of the show. I don't understand the concept of that.
I'll tell you exactly what's the concept of that, and thank you as always, homie. I'll tell you exactly what's the concept of that. It is basically the Hulkster playing the backstage politics as always. It's the Hulkster stirring that pot, trying to make sure that he gets himself that proper spotlight, he gets himself that channel, get in that stock. You know, that's how Hogan is. He wants to get that stock up a little bit, make sure that he's on point, and it's basically all about him. You know, I, for one, I'm very curious if this is going to end at Bound for Glory. You would think that the right thing would happen and that this whole Aces and Eights Hogan angle will end for sure at Bound for Glory. I mean, honestly, and I say this with heartfelt sincerity as a writer, I've been writing for like at least 20 years, and I can just tell you with sincerity that if they do not wrap this up at Bound for Glory, it can definitely possibly be one of the worst story angles of all time, just let alone of how they're going to try to go about wrapping it up, because this will mean that we have been dealing with this storyline for, if January 2013 hits, and we still don't know who's behind Aces and Eights, that would mean the storyline has been going on for like 8, maybe 9 months. And I'm sorry, but you're going to have so many fans that's going to be alienated if it doesn't get squashed come 10 days from now. I can just imagine the backlash. So hopefully, I'm hoping, and I think you guys should be keeping your fingers crossed right now for those of you that are tired seeing Hogan and what's the other guy, Aces and Eights. If you're tired of seeing Hogan dominate the segments, you definitely want to keep your fingers crossed, and you want to say to yourself, okay, you know what, let's hope Bound for Glory, it all comes to a head, it wraps up, because that's where the bookend needs to be. Pretty much it needs to be Bound for Glory, it's this person that's behind Aces and Eights, and then you kind of let that go into its own little thing. That'll kind of breathe a little bit more new life into it. But you're still, unfortunately, going to be dealing with Hogan. And the way you're going to have to, unfortunately, counter back with Hogan, even though it's not going to happen, we all could be in agreement that his segments just need to be cut back dramatically. I mean, honestly, he's not an active wrestler. We all can agree we really do not want to see him wrestle. Probably the best match that he had in recent years was that street fight match that he had with Sting. I really don't think that he has one more in him. I think that's it. So we really don't want to see him wrestle again, or in the ring for that matter. His segments, honestly, let it be 3 max, and that's the end of it. I mean, really, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna leave Hogan alone until Saturday's show. I think the way that they're going about their Backstage pass right now, how much of a draw do you think it would be if they could have Hogan pop up more on the Backstage pass, really driving that home? I mean, just think about it here for a second. And for you guys that are kind of like, I just want you to think about that for a second, and we will pick back up on that when we get ready to do the Saturday show. Because, see, that's where the real money is, in my honest opinion. That's where the real viewership is as far as those increases. Because let's just look at Backstage Pass on YouTube for a moment. Every single week, their average is about just under 300 views. Now, unfortunately, we don't really have those same statistics for the chat room, but the few times that I did pop up on ImpactWrestlingChat.com, there was probably like about maybe 40 people that were interacting during the Backstage Pass. So pretty much you can take that 40, maybe 50 people, add it on top of how many people are checking it out on YouTube, and then maybe you could go back and maybe add the people that's checking it out on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. If you're lucky, you might have about maybe 800 total, if you're lucky. There's a way for them to really expand that even more. And quite honestly, I think that's how Hulk Hogan needs to be utilized. Marinate on that until we do the weekend report of the RCWR show this Saturday. And let me tell you, folks, it's going to be an awesome edition because we're going to be taking an in-depth look on the recent contract negotiations that have failed between WWE and Edge, the Bella Twins, Chris Jericho. Hey, now we got Beth Phoenix on her way out the door. What does it all mean? What can WWE take from this going forward? You're definitely going to like in an in-depth look what I have to say with regards to all this. We're also going to take a in-depth look into Kane as, hey, it was just 15 years ago that he had came into the WWE. Definitely going to kick back and have a nice little retrospective look on his career, see what possibly might be next for the future, if it might be time for him to slow it on down possibly. And we'll also get you guys caught up on the very latest in WWE TNA news, as only on the RCWR Show Weekend Report you'll actually find our coverage of Friday Night SmackDown, as we give that the proper in-depth look treatment. So definitely check it out. We'll also have some new music reviews for you guys, get you guys caught up on the latest in entertainment news. Jam-packed episode. Check it out. RCWR Show Weekend Report Edition. You guys love it, so we're going to keep it rolling with that. Do join us this Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern. You can listen to it at blogtalkradio.com and over at our sister website at infinityOneProductions.com. Homie, thanks for calling in. Dave, thanks for calling in. Thanks for chipping in on the chat room there. Thank all of you for checking out the show. Once again, mad shout out to our new subscribers on YouTube. Welcome aboard. Do hope you enjoy the show and all the great content. We're going to be on a somewhat 40-plus hour break, but you know the talk of wrestling-related news, it doesn't stop right here. Do check us out at InfinityOneProductions.com. Also hit us up on Twitter, InfinityOneProd, Facebook at InfinityOneProductions for all the latest. You know how we do it. We always try to do our best to give you guys that 411 in between when we're not on the air. Until we hear from you guys this Saturday afternoon for the RCWR Show Weekend Report, I'm the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. Make sure you subscribe to us in the iTunes, Zune Marketplaces, Stitcher, keywords, the RCWR Show. Y'all be safe and y'all be kind to one another, folks. We will see you this Saturday afternoon. Do take care.